Okay, in this video we are going to learn how to find the sum and product of roots of quadratic equation without actually solving the equation. Like suppose we have an equation x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. If we want to find the sum of its roots, not actually the roots but the sum of the roots and the product of roots, one way is to manually solve it and find the roots and then take their sum and multiply them to get their product. Another way is to just memorize a simple formula, which is the sum of roots, product of root. The formula is minus b upon a and c upon a. Either we can just memorize these two formulas. That's pretty simple and saves a hell of a lot of time. Okay, so let's try it out. The sum of roots is minus b upon a. Okay, the quadratic equation is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. These constants correspond to the alphabets, these variables. Okay, so here we have our b is minus 5. Minus 5 is our b. So minus 5 divided by a. A is 1. Okay, so our sum of roots is 5 and product of roots is c upon a. Our c is 6 and our a is 1. Okay, and product of roots is 6. Okay, so here we have the sum and here we have the product. We just found it too quickly, and if we do it manually, let's see what happens. Our 5 is sum, 6 is product. I'll just raise it off to just solve it manually and show you. It becomes, when we solve it manually, let's do it using the factoring method. We divided by 6. We 2 divided by 3 is 6 and 3 times 1 is, we have two numbers, and when we take the sum of their negatives, minus 2 plus minus 3, we get minus 5, and when we take the product we get a 6. Okay, so here we have x squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6 equals to 0. We take x as common, x minus 2 and plus 3, we get x minus 2 again equals to 0. Okay, it's minus, because we take minus 3 as common, we need to get this same, these two brackets as same. Okay, so now when we have these two same, we get x minus 3 and x minus 2 equals to 0. We get x minus 3 equals to 0 and x minus 2 equal to 0. We get x equal to 3 and x equal to 2. We get our two answers. When we take their sum, 3 plus 2 is 5. We get our sum. When we multiply them, 2 times 3, we get 6. That's a product. We saved this lot of work by just this formula. That's a pretty easy formula. We just try it out with two different examples to make sure it works. Okay, let's take an example. Here we have x squared minus x minus 30 equals to 0. It has roots 5 and minus 6. There are two roots it has. These are the roots. You can check them by solving them. And for now, I'll just use these formulas and put the values in. Minus b, we have minus 1, minus minus plus, minus times minus 1, yeah, plus 1, and divided by a, which is 1, we get a positive 1. Okay, wait, I guess it's positive. This one is positive. So we get a negative 1 over here. Plus minus, we get a negative 1 here. And then when we solve it using the product rule, c divided by a, we get minus 30 divided by 1. we get a minus 30. So when we multiply it, 5 times minus 6, we get a minus 30. When we add them, we actually subtract 6 from 5, we get a minus 1. So that's how it works. That's true. Okay, now let's move on to next example. Okay, now here we have this x squared minus 13x plus 22 equals to 0. Okay, so when we find their sum and product of roots, I'll just tell you the roots. It has root 2 and 9. These two are its roots. You can check it by solving. I'll just use this sum of roots and product of roots formula on it. Minus 13, that's our b, and it is minus b divided by a. A is 1. We get a positive 13 as sum, and our product as c over a, 22 divided by 1. Product is, it's strangely not working because I wrote the question wrong again. I'm very sorry about it. It's actually 18. You can solve it and you'll get this answer. I just copied it wrong over here from my notebook. This is 18. 2 times 9 is 18, and here is 18. Okay, the sum is 13 and the product is 18. You can check it. Okay, so how does this work? How does this come out? Minus b over a and c over a. How does this work? I'll just show you how we get this formula. It's important to know how it's derived so you can know if you're going right or wrong. Like, I just figured out that this was wrong. I did a mistake over here. So let me teach you that. I'll just keep it and erase the rest. Okay, I need to write it again. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, suppose we have a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is made by when we have two answers like x minus 3 and x minus 5 equals to 0. Then we keep each of these separately equal to 0, and we get 3 and 5 as answers. What if we just multiply it? We just multiply these both brackets. What will we get? We get x times x minus 5 and minus 3 x minus 5. When we just multiply these brackets, we get our equation. Okay, I'm just doing it to show you how we get to these formulas. We get x squared minus 5x minus 3x, and 3 times 5 minus 3 times minus 5 is plus 15. We get x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals to 0. Equals 0. Okay, here we get our formula. But what if we just take these 3 and 5 as a and b? One of our answer is, suppose, a, and our other answer is b. Or just not a and b, because we have our a and b over here. We'll just put them as, we have our x. Let's take m and p, not m. Or okay, I'll just take any variable. Let's take n and p. We have our two answers. These can represent any variable. This can represent any answer. 3, 4, like we solved 2 questions previously, we got 2 answers. These are those 2 answers. X is equal to n and x equals to p when we solve it. Okay, so now when we find its equation, what happens is we multiply this bracket with this. We get x times, I'll just do it directly, x squared minus n xn and minus xp plus nx equals to 0. You can multiply it manually and see what comes out. It will come out like this. Okay, here we have it. But that's the same equation we have been solving all the way through, having our x squared coefficient as 1. We do not need x squared coefficient as 1, because if it's 1, then the answer can simply be minus b or c, because when divided by a we get this. When we divide by 1 we get minus b and a c. To make this make sense, I'll just try not to have this x squared as 1. I'll just multiply the whole equation with some number to get something with this x squared. Let's multiply the whole equation with 2. We'll have 2x squared minus 2x and minus 2xb plus 2nx equal to 0. We multiply 2 on the both sides, and 2 times 0 is also 0. So okay, here we have this equation. We can just take something common as well. 2x squared. Over here we can take minus 2x common. Minus 2 and n plus b times x. I can write it as minus 2x and then write n plus b. Like I can write x over here, but you will get it why I just wrote it this way. It does not make any difference, but I'll just, for the sake of clarity, I just wrote it on different sides. Okay, and here we have, okay, I just missed one thing in the above two equations. It's b plus nb plus nb becomes plus 2nb equal to 0. Okay, when you see it this way, this corresponds to this equation, the standard quadratic equation. It is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so when we connect these, what's product of roots? Product of roots is np, because we have our roots as n and p and np. When you multiply the roots to get the product, we get np, and the sum of root is n plus p. Where do we have np and n plus p? Here we have np and here we have n plus p. How do we get these alone? By this. Let's see. I'll just erase it for now. Okay, here we have np. To find the product of roots, we need to get rid of this 2. We divide by a. That's a. This 2. That's where it comes in action. If we didn't have a 2, it will simply be a c. But here we do not have this np alone, so we divide by 2 np, which is c, and divide by a, which is 2. Okay, here we get np is equal to c upon a. I hope you are getting this, how I found this. Np is equal to product of roots. Okay, so a bit difficult part now, the sum of roots. What is b? This minus 2 times n plus p. Minus 2 n plus p. This is our b. This is our b. And when we divide it by 2, which is actually a, this 2 is a, we get b upon a. But when we divide it by 2, when we just do it b over a, we get minus n plus p goes to b upon a. Here we are not getting n plus p alone, so we multiply b with a minus sign to get rid of this. That's from where this minus sign comes. If we have to get this n plus p alone, we need to multiply the b term with a minus sign. When we have a minus sign over here, this becomes minus minus plus, and this becomes a positive 1. So now we get a positive n plus p, which is minus b upon a. I hope now you get how to find the product of roots and the sum of roots and how these formulas are derived, this c upon a and this minus b upon a. I hope my explanation was clear and neat and you understand now. Thanks for watching and see you next time.